Right, welcome back to part two of our Lamborghini Urus from Alpha Models. Picking up where we left off last time, we clear coated our wheels in the last video. Today we're going to use one of our Pro Scale Precision C applicators, some Bob Smith's Gold and some Zoom On tyre valves. We drilled these holes in the first part, if you remember right. After it's clear coated, you may need to clear the hole out a little bit more, but for us, they pretty much fitted in. So, with a little tiny dab of glue on the end of the valve, we just carefully push it in place with a tweezer. Repeat that for all four, and we're done. And then those lovely carpets we textured last time in Pro Scales, textured black. These are just glued in place. Now, because of the way the layout of this car is, we didn't need to flock in here either, because the only exposed parts are these mats. So it would have literally covered all the flocking anyway. So I opted not to do any other areas and just leave these mats in. Probably couldn't have been flocking in some areas, but sometimes, yeah, you just got to think, is it worth doing that little bit? And for me on this, it wasn't worth doing. Number plate, we painted this semi-gloss black last time. So this is the embossed PE plate that comes with the kit. I had to paint these black and then hit them with a sander. And it takes all the paint off the raised edges and leaves the black behind. And just gives, I think, a pretty cool effect that I've got on most of my Alpha models. Now, the lights did call for PE and a bit of tricky painting. For me, I cheated using one of my Edding silver paint marker pens. And these are actually paint. It's not a marker pen. It's paint in a tube. And these work absolutely phenomenal. The coverage is unreal. They do take a while to dry, so bear that in mind. But if we're doing parts like this, you'll see just how easy it is to paint raised areas. And in my opinion, it looks very realistic as a reflector or a light lens. Now, polishing the body, this has been drying now for, was drying for about 2, nearly 3 weeks. We've got some trizer pads. We've got the 3, 6 and 8,000s. We're going to use the 6 and the 8 today. We don't need all the grits. So we're going to spray the water on. Now, I didn't know this, but 3M trizer pads are designed to work with sprayed water, not dunking the pad in water. They work better like this, and trust me, give it a whirl. For me, I can feel the pad cutting better. Now, I've got a little bit of washing up liquid in that water in the spray bottle. This definitely seems to work a lot better. Now, just remember, these are very efficient pads. Don't go too heavy, and just keep the pad lubed all the time. So, yeah, not submerging the pad in water does seem to help it cut a little bit better, in my opinion. So bear that in mind if you're using them. What we're going to do is going to go over the entire body, and all we're doing is get rid of any dust, which I don't think there was on this at all. Any hair or muck that's got in there. We need to obviously fix the remnants of where we knocked it over. There's that little part on the side. And we're going to go over every square inch of this body and flat it all back. Doing this will also thin the 2K a bit as well. Now, luckily, Pro Scales 2K does dry a lot thinner than others I've used in my experience, so it's very good like that. But flattening it back and polishing it up does make it look even better, so it's a well worth step doing. So we've done that with the 6 and the 8,000 Trizex all over, and now we've got our Proxon bit, we've got some Zoom On polishing pads, we've got Menzerna compounds in 2500 and 3500, and some Autoglym Super Resin polish. Now we're going to use the green coarse pad with the coarse compound, the blue lesser medium coarse pad with the medium compound, and the red soft one with the Autoglym. Now I find, take the lid off, shake it all up, then take the lid off, put your finger in and wipe it all over the model. This saves it splattering everywhere. I've got the speed on the lowest set I can get on the Proxon, which is about 5,000 RPM, and this is foot power, pedal powered. It's foot power, we'll get it right now. It's foot pedal operated, there we go, which makes life a lot easier for doing this. Now, you don't need to apply crazy amount of pressure. Let the tool do the job and just work your way around. Now, just be careful of any raised areas or any bits sticking out or any corners where the paint's always thinner. It is easy to burn through, so just take your time. What I typically do is go over the area twice, usually in opposing ways, and just work my way around the body till we're done. So we're going to do all the body, all the top, sides, everywhere. Now, if you spot a flaw you've not quite got rid of with either the 3M pads, trizer pads, or the polish, you can repeat the process again. Just remember, there is a finite amount of clear there. You don't want to burn through. But if you look how shiny that is just after the coarse compound, you can see the result we're getting straight away is very beneficial. So, well worth doing this. This is a game changer doing this, and even I avoided doing it for years, and I wish I'd gone back to it a long time ago. The zoom on pads are very high quality. You'll get multiple cars off each set, and I think the Manzana compounds are a game changer as well. So it's a case of going around with the coarse compound and coarse pad, then the medium compound, the medium pad, and then finally, as I've done here, we've got the red pad on the Proxon, and we've got some Autoglym super resin polish for just a final polish up all over. We'll then give it a full wipe over with our cloth. We'll get our toothbrush in there to get any polish remnants out, and we'll go to the spray booth and put some water in the airbrush and blast out all the panel lines to get any remnants of polish behind. But the clear coat looks absolutely phenomenal now. After cleaning it all out here, we have a nice polishing cloth, and that colour looks absolutely astounding. The clear coat looks absolutely amazing. You can't even really see where we knocked it over, which again shows how good the ProScale 2K really is and how forgiving it is. I had to put the 2K on again, quite heavy in spots, and it's still, we had no runs, no flaws, no problems at all. It helped me rectify the best of a bad situation, so very thankful I didn't screw it up, but this is looking phenomenal. Don't know why I'm showing so much of me polishing this. I must have been quite proud when I was editing. We could have cut this about 10 seconds ago, but hey, we're probably got another 10 seconds to go. So there we go. Let's just sit back in awe and look at that beautiful purple colour. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Right, masking. More masking. Yes, would you believe it? So now we're going to mask off the window trim for the black work. So we're going all around the model. Again, tedious, couple of hours work. But again, you get out of it what we put in it. So the better job we do now, the better the overall finish. So it's a case using those Tamiya thin masking tapes, which are a godsend, and the normal Tamiya tapes, which again, we've got over on ProScale. Followed up with some cling film to fill all the larger areas in to save tape. And with that masked up, we can go to the booth, and we're using some Mr. Surfacer 1500 black now. We're just going to go around and paint in and around all the window trim. And then while we're there, we're going to do inside as well. I used to brush paint this, but lately the way I've been masking it, I've been able to do inside as well. So just do a nice thorough job of getting all the black paint inside. Obviously the black interior colour or the interior colour will vary depending on your interior colour itself. So if you've got a beige interior, you might want to do the roof a different colour. Whatever, you can specify and change that as you go. So with that done, we can unmask it all. And then once we're unmasked, we can paint all our wheel arches. So we've got some Vallejo model colour now. This is a water-based acrylic paint from Vallejo with a nice flat brush, and we're just carefully brushing all the wheel arches to ensure we've got them all covered. Now, we've got the Bob Smith's Precision Tips. We've got these on the website. I've also added some slightly bigger ones. They're a lot cheaper lately as well, with some of the Bob Smiths. Is that the purple one? I cannot quite see. Or is it Bob Smith's Gold? I can't quite make it out what it is. And like I say, I filmed this, but it's gold. Bob Smith's Gold. We can start gluing our interior. Now, these seats are handed. So, test fit everything first. My biggest tip with these kits is don't glue anything in until you've test fitted it. This interior looks absolutely amazing when it's done. I think it was Dan Perrin gave me the idea to do this colour. And as much as it pains me to say, I'm glad I listened to him because it does look epically good. Would it be my choice of colour on the car? I don't think it would. It's a bit extrovert for me. I think I'd go for a nice black interior colour. But I think that looks great. I think all the colours tie in with the accents. It's a nice interior on this one. It does look really, really good. So very happy how that's turned out. Looks really, really good. Now, we need to test fit all the interiors. So I've already test fitted this to a degree. And I know the door cards have got to go in first. So these are a bit finicky. This is probably one of the worst parts of the kit. This and the clear parts, getting the interior in. So you can usually get both door cards in, then the dashboard. On this one, I got one door card in, then managed to slot the dashboard in, and then get the other door card in the other side. So test fit it. Make sure it all fits in. And when I say test fit, I mean the dashboard, the door cards, and the interior to make sure it all fits. Don't follow the instructions and start gluing door cards to the chassis, to the interior tub, because it won't fit. It simply won't fit. I've been there before and done it. This is 90% of the time how they fit in. Once they're all glued in, we've got some orange ribbon, which we'll put some double-sided tape on. I've got some photo etch to go on this in a minute. It is literally fell off. And then we'll trim it to suit at the bottom as well, just to give us the indication of seat belts. There we go. And then with those done, we can pop in our interior tub. So this is a huge, that interior tub weighs more than most Alpha model kits alone. And as I say, I've test fitted this several times. It is quite a tight fit, but overall it does go in pretty well. Just making sure it all lines up. Once we're happy with it, we're going to glue it in place. So we'll put some strategic CA points around the edge, hit it with some CA kicker, just to hold it in. Now there's nothing kind of structural here. We just don't want it to move, so CA glue is perfectly fine for this. Don't go mad splurging it all in, because it'll end up running through your interior, going on your paint. A little bit of kicker goes a long way. Like so, and there we go. And then we've got our rear bumper now as well. So there's some red light insert, so I've basically glued in the photo etch. And I'm just using some Tamiya X27 acrylic, red acrylic clear in there to get the light in. Like so. And then the front lights can be slotted in place as well. And again, like I say, test fit everything. Do not commit to gluing anything in place until you've test fitted. It will fit in there. So once I'm happy, a little bit of Bob Smiths in there will hold those in just fine. I would recommend using Bob Smiths on exterior parts because it doesn't fog. It will leave a haze in any of the parts. As always with the light lenses, I've cleaned them up and we're going around with a Sharpie to give the indication of the rubber seal around the edge. Again, something I'll say not a lot of people do. It adds a lot of depth to the model, so it's something well worth doing. So just take your time going around. And then we can start popping these in place. A little bit of Bob Smith's gold again, very strategic and sparingly applied. We'll get those glued in place absolutely perfect. So this is where these precision tips come in, absolute godsend. You'll get the smallest amount of CA glue right where you want it. And then very carefully, we can get the light lens in place, like so. And then just give it a little bit of pressure, make sure it's in. There we go, repeat that for the other side, and then we're going to repeat for the front. A little bit off camera here, no idea what's going on. I just fancy working over to the left by the look of it. I think I was resting it on that part stand there. But at least you can see what I'm doing. Just about. Exactly the same as we did to the back, a little bit of CA glue. Now, just because the Bob Smith's gold won't fog, it will still mark the glass, so don't get it all over the glass. What the fogging means is the chemical drying or curing process won't haze the interior parts of the clear, which it will do with normal CA glue. So yeah, just be careful with that. The rear bumper fit in like an absolute champ. It barely needed any glue, but I did put a couple of drops in there just to fully secure it. And it's just everything about this car is monstrous. It really is huge, huge amounts of resin. This is definitely an Alpha model kit that is well worth the money because there's probably double the amount of resin in this kit than with most kits. We've got our tub in place as well. And there we go with that in. That's all glued in place. Then we've got our exhaust system to go in too. Now, as you notice, I didn't screw this one. Those holes are sometimes too big for the screws, and the screws go straight through them. It baffles me. I don't know why. A little bit of CA glue works wonders. Don't use the holes on the side because you see the screws from the side, so don't do that. But a little bit of CA glue will hold the tub in perfectly fine. And then we can start getting our wheel hubs, brake discs and calipers glued in place. Now with these, pay attention, make sure you got the correct ones. You can usually tell them by the orientation of the lug where it fits in place. It'll usually taper to the top, and the brake disc, the brake caliper locating point as well. Look at the orientation of the calipers on the real car. And then I find it best just to test fit first. Yeah, that's going to fit in there. Then attach the brake caliper to the disc where you cut it off the hub, off the sprue. And that way it'll cover it, and then a little bit of glue on the back of each part. Line it up with the hole. Make sure the hole is perfectly lined up, otherwise you won't get your wheel through. So I'd put a few sparing dabs of CA glue on the hub. Put the caliper mounting piece in its little lug at the back. Line it all up, and then I'd use a wheel just to very carefully test fit it and make sure it fits in place. Repeat that for each side until all 4 wheels are done. And then with the final one in place, we can put a little bit of glue in there. Once you're happy everything's done the way you want it, a little bit of CA glue in there, and there we go. There's our wheels in place. Now the bit I don't like doing, and I know a lot of people dread and are put off with these kits, is these clear parts. It is probably the worst part of these kits. Using the Bob Smith's gold with one of our precision applicators again, we're just going to spread the glue around a bit so it's not all gathered in one area. We've got our plastic window off. We've already test fitted it. I've got some some masking tape as a handle so it needs to touch inside. And it's a case of just getting it in place, line it up, and then use some cotton buds just to hold it in place until the glue grabs. Now you do get a bit of working time with the Bob Smiths. It is a godsend for that. But in the meantime, you've got to try and juggle cotton buds, try and hold everything. You'll always get a corner that keeps popping up, so you need to keep holding that as well. So all I say about this is it's not the easiest thing to do. It is quite daunting, but the more you do, the easier it becomes and the less daunting it becomes as well. It's not that bad to do, but I would recommend test fitting every window first before you even go near them with glue. And just be careful your fingers are going, where the glue is going, and cotton buds. Now there's a protective film on the outside of the glass, so you are pretty safe, but make sure you are installing them the right way around. Put them back to front or inside out as well. Now, mirrors in place, a little bit of glue because we need the mirrors in first before the windows go in. So we just line those up and get them in place. And then we'll get our spoiler in at the same time as well. Quite a tight fit this as well, so it just needs pushing in place and a little bit of persuasion just to slip in where it needs to go. But it is a very positive point as well. Also, we've got the little shark's fin antenna to go on the roof as well. And then the side window, exactly the same as all the others. Test fit, then glue, then pop them in place. And again, keep hold of the corners. You'll always find one corner that's a pain, so just keep pressure on it with the cotton bud, and then repeat for the other side. Job done. Door handles, you've got to look at these to make sure you get them orientated the right way. Real life references of the car are a godsend. Another godsend, about the 3rd time I've said that today. But a little bit of dab of glue in the holes, push them in place, repeat for all the others, and then a bit of double-sided tape on our number plate for the back. And there we go. Job done. In place, looking good. Now, there's a few grills around the car as well. They've all been glued in place with Bob Smiths as well. The exhaust is on, obviously we did that earlier. So this is one of the grills going in place. So a little bit of Bob Smiths and just hold one end while you glue the other. And a little tiny bit of kicker. I've got the smallest amount of kicker on that micro brush. The smallest amount you can think of. But hopefully it'll be enough to hold everything in place. Window wipers, these are my absolute bane. I don't mind making them. I hate gluing them in place. They can make an absolute mess. Thankfully, these ones weren't too bad. So they literally went on, and I got them in place pretty much first time. Window trim, now these are especially tricky. They go over the mirrors. You need to put the smallest amount of CA glue, Bob Smith's Gold, on the locating points, or you'll make an unholy mess of the car. My best advice for these would be, if you're not confident, don't use them. Simply leave them off the model. It's not the end of the world not using them. And then I got some of these lovely MSN Creation Lamborghini logos. They are 3D bubble effect. They look a lot better than the decals that come with the kit. You can only get them from Hong Kong. I have inquired about getting them in stock at Pro Scale, but nobody got back to me, which is a real shame. But they are a massive improvement over the kit decals for the logos. And then finally, we're going to give it a go over with our Pro Scale ceramic coatings. This is something I've been trialing for a while. I will always try products myself for a while before we release them. So this is basically a hybrid ceramic coating. It basically goes on like a wax, let it harden for 5 minutes, buff it off, and it's basically like a super wax that will last even longer than a standard wax. Works absolutely brilliant. Now, one thing I would recommend about this is before you start putting any polishing cloths on, I would let everything dry for at least 12 hours. The Bob Smith's Gold takes quite a while to go off. You don't want to go past a mirror or a window and drag a big streaky bit of super glue off. It'll ruin all your hard work. As you can see, we glued in the shark's fin antenna as well. And there we go. Look at that. What a beautiful car. With the contrasting black and viola Parsiffet paintwork, those orange calipers on the black wheels, that striking interior which you can't miss. This thing has turned out absolutely beautiful. It really is. It was a really nice model to build as well, pretty trouble-free, and a hell of a lump of resin. And here we go. There's some beauty shots of it. So a stunning looking car. So I've got to try and remember this now. This was primed in Pro Scale Grey Primer, painted in Viola Parsiffet Lamborghini colour, which was a 2-stage paint from Pro Scale. We masked and painted all the black trim in Lamborghini Nero. The wheels are GX2 gloss black. The brake calipers are Lamborghini Pearl brake caliper orange. Discs are Pro Scale Grey ceramic. We've done, let me have a think. Obviously, we 2K'd it with the Pro Scale 2K. The interior is a mix of pastel orange leather and Napa black leather with some P from the kit in there as well. And that's pretty much it. We flatted it all back with 3M pads, polished up with the Zoom on polishing compounds, polishing pads and Menzerna compounds, and gave it a carbon ceramic coating at the end. I think it's turned out absolutely fantastic. So nice to get it all off the bench, and nice to have this beautiful colour finally on a car. I've looked forward to using this colour since the first day I mixed it, and here we go. And I think it looks absolutely stunning. So there we go. There's another build off the bench. On to the next one. Let's go back to me for some final thoughts. Right then, so there we go. There's another build off the bench. I've lost track where we're at now. We must be at nearly 20. Must be at nearly 20 for the year, which isn't bad going at all. Not a bad kit to build at all. Wouldn't always be, if there was a list of Alpha model kits to buy, that one wouldn't be up there with the top one to buy. I do like the Urus, but it's not like an Aventador, is it, or a Ferrari 488 or anything exotic like that. But it's quite a cool vehicle, and it was a nice one to model as well. As I've said several times, it weighs an absolute ton. It is a block of resin, this thing, and I think it turned out really well. The colour is just absolutely beautiful. It's just a stunning looking colour, and with that really vibrant interior, I think it set it off really well. So happy how it turned out, really am. We're quite a few builds ahead so far. We're quite a bit of a delay on getting builds out on video. We've still got the have to have a look in the display case. We've got the we've got the Smoke in the Bandit, or well, the Trans Am from Revel to do. That's the next one, and then the Hobby Design R35 as well. They're all sitting here. Look, these are all the recently finished. So there's the Urus, there's the Pontiac, and there's the R35. So I've still got these two. These are finished. I've still got those two to edit. So they'll be up on the channel soon as well. But I am quite a way behind on my editing, just because of the sheer number of builds I've done. It wasn't very well lately as well, which put me off building and editing for a while. But yeah, you've got lots coming up, lots and lots of stuff coming up. So there we go, another build off the bench. On to the next one. So what am I working on next? Well, it will be my Cobra build to honour our friend Tracy, who died last year. Any Shelby Cobra. We've got a special edition paint out there for him as well. Starts on the 1st of December, so go on there and have a look. And if you're watching this on Patreon, because it's the only place you'll be in time to get this, we're having a Black Friday sale over on Pro Scale Paint as well. And it's 10% off the entire site, so go over and have a look too. And there we go. So that's it. So speaking of patrons, if you want to help support this channel, keep me being able to do these builds, because without the support of the patrons, I couldn't do this. There's a Patreon down below. All the perks are here on screen. You get early access to all the videos up to 3 months. You get an exclusive Facebook Messenger chat group, an actual Facebook group. You get a bench update every week. You get 10% off of Pro Scale Paint. You can talk to me directly, ask me questions. Loads of perks. As I say, without these guys, whose name's going to flash up in a second, I won't be able to keep doing this. There's also links down below to everything else associated with me. There's ISM, Pro Scale Paint, my stash. There's an email address to get in touch with me. There's links to the off-air hangout group. If you want to come and hang with us in a Zoom call, you can come and ask questions in there. There's everything down there. And as always, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment. I love reading all the comments, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you get notified of all the latest videos. There we go. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye bye.